What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Brown House Experience. My name is Donnell Brown. I am your host, and this is Tia Brown, my beautiful and always informational co-host here. You are watching Pat TV on CAN TV Channel 21. If at any time you want to check us out online, you can do so at www.cantv.org/hotline. If you want to call in and got something to say, you can do so at 312-738-1060. All right, we got our 10th episode lined up for today. Tia, tell us what we have going on.
So today we have an awesome woman here today to share Girls Like Me project, LaKeisha Sewell. Am I saying it correctly? Yes. I got it correct this week, everybody. She is here to share the awesome things that she's doing to help everybody in our community move beyond the block. So we also have Natasha Scott as our neighbor to know. We have some kid bits by Zoe Brown. She's going to share how to create a popsicle stick airplane later on today. And we also have the rest of our information about Check Onto Diop with our Knowledge Corner. And we have a special AK Corner that's going to highlight some ladies basketball. Correct?
Yes, we should highlight some ladies basketball, but we also will be getting into, what Athletic Connection does,
Yes.
just, the training aspect. So we're going to tap into that later on.
So we have a jam-packed show today. First, we want to bring up our first awesome candidate for our guest seat for today. And her name is LaKeisha, and she actually is a member of the SIUC clan. Also, yes, I have to represent SIUC. She is a member of our beautiful, illustrious SIU membership. Yes, you should join also. So we're going to have her. We're going to have her come on and join us today. Welcome, LaKeisha Sewell. Oh, sorry, we're having some technical difficulties with the computer.
It's okay, we'll get it right.
Yes.
We'll get it right.
We do everything ourselves here. And we have a lot of things open. And they're all starting at one time.
Be patient with us. Be patient with us.
Thank you.
A whole lot for you guys to check out.
Yes.
Today, so.
I am sorry about this little mishap. So it looks like we're going to welcome her to the stage without the video. I really want to show her video. Oh, here we go. And 5, 4. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited that you were able to join us today. I have been following you for some time now, watching the things that you do and how you are changing lives with the youth as well as adults. So I want to commend you on that first.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So first, I want you to tell us a little bit about your background and the mission of the Girls Like Me project.
Well, my background, as you said, SIUC Saluki.
Yes.
Rocks, yes. But my background is I am from Chicago, born and raised on the South Side, what people now refer to as Bronzeville. When I was growing up, it was just the low end. It wasn't no fancy name for it. But I am a product of CPS schools.
Yes.
Anthony Overton, Walter H. Diet, Simeon. And my background is as a writer, also in radio and television. That's what I went to SIU for and got a degree in television communications. And so came back home to Chicago pregnant with my first son, my husband and I. And then, so I just knew my dream was over. Like, wouldn't be able to do any of what I wanted to do, what I went to school for. But wound up in a roundabout way coming back to it. So I taught for a few years and then wound up working at WVON radio station. It's a long history behind, I mean, to go along with all that, but fast forward, my children were 8 and 9 years old, and my son was at a school, and I noticed the girls in his classroom were very aggressive towards one another, towards boys.
Yes.
You saw them emulating a lot of what was happening with reality TV at that time, Bad Girls Club and the teen pregnancy show, all these different shows. You saw them emulating, and so I started volunteering in the classroom and started doing this thing called Ladies Lunch, where we used a book, The Skin I'm In by Sharon G. Flake, to kind of get them to find this self-discovery about themselves and honor one another. So that eventually folded into an organization where I started formally doing things. And the mission of the organization, Girls Like Me Project, the mission is to make sure that we train girls in media literacy so that they can push back against the stereotypes, the negative media messages, and the stigma that degrade them, that devalue them, and that also stifle their ambition and their aspirations. And so we train them in media literacy, and we also train them in digital storytelling so that they can be influential global leaders.
That's so dope. That's so dope. That's very different. That's a whole different market that a lot of people haven't tapped into yet, especially with girls of color. That's so dope. So what have you noticed? What disparities have you noticed in regards to communities with media literacy? Like, do you see that our children tend to lack the knowledge that they need to succeed in those careers?
Well, first and foremost, you start with what they have access to, right? So, Women's Media Center in 2013 did a study, and it found that girls from low income homes have a disparity just in the access that they have, right? Okay. So, girls in low income homes will have a television in their bedrooms, and it may be 5 or 6 televisions in a low-income household. Whereas in suburban or affluent homes, there is not going to be a TV in the bedroom of the child, but then also there are less televisions overall in the home, right? And then you start looking at the access to what our children have access to in terms of what free media they have. So while everybody has the same playing field, everybody can access the same public airwaves. However, the time that our young people have to actually consume is much more time than a young person who's involved in sports, whose parents are at home or available to be home, who are able to be exposed to different things. So their only outlet is in consuming media. Right. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to be empowered to actually produce and use, as you said, what are the careers. So to even talk about careers with our media, our young people aren't taught that. They're taught to consume, buy, download, play, right? They're not taught to create. They're not taught to use it as an advocacy tool. And that is what we want to do. That's what we want to instill in young people, young girls specifically.
Well, that is awesome. That is so awesome. That puts a lot of things. I have so many ideas going through my head because we work with girls also, and we try to target those girls who have discipline problems and need that extra little push. Well. So that's why I was like, oh my goodness, this sounds like so much that similar to what we're doing. So what programs do you all offer to bridge that gap with the kids? So
we have several different programs. The first one we have is called DIVAs, Digitally Innovative Voices of Advocacy Sisters. So DIVAs can be an in-school program that runs for 6 to 13 weeks. And the curriculum is strictly media literacy and is strictly digital storytelling. And then we have Divas in the City, which is the summer cohort, and those girls get the media literacy, but the focus is more on the digital storytelling. It's almost a summer camp, so they're having fun exploring the city, but then documenting their experiences. Because for many of us, if you grew up on the south or west side of Chicago, you don't have a lot of exposure to tourism things. You don't have a lot of exposure to outside of your community, right? The 5-6 mile radius of your own home, and so, or I should say 6 blocks of your own home. And so we expose them to things in a way that they're not just going to like, oh, I'm at Navy Pier, but what's this experience different than if you were just here to watch the fireworks on a free night? Like, what else is there? What would you do if you were someone who didn't live in Chicago and you were visiting? Explore it in that way. Explore what it is to have lunch on the Riverwalk of your own city. Explore what it is to be in a high-rise corporate office, actually doing a mock marketing campaign, presenting it, and then having lunch and ice cream out on the balcony or the rooftop at the Prudential Plaza. So these are the things that we expose them to.
Yes, exposure. And that's key because so many, as a teacher, I see so many of our kids have not even been downtown.
Never.
So when we go on field trips and they see the buildings, they're like, oh, look at the tall buildings. And in my head, I'm thinking, really? You know, this is our city.
Tia, you know, the thing, and we'll probably get into it with another of your questions, but the thing that touches me most is that my peers at the same time did not experience downtown either. Like, if they weren't going there for a specific thing, you didn't just go downtown to shop. That wasn't what you went to the plaza, you went to Fort City, you went to all these other places, but you didn't get on the train or bus specifically to go downtown to get your gym shoes, right? You knew your parent worked down there, but where are we really going? And that is I believe that's systematic, that is structural, that is by design to keep us all segregated. But I won't go into
well, this is the right show for that. This is the right show for that. So what has been your most fulfilling moment that you've experienced so far in the nonprofit sector?
Oh my God, I don't have just one.
I know, I knew when I said that.
If I could say one for most fulfilling is that we sent 2 girls to Costa Rica for 3 weeks this summer for their first international travel and their first community mission work. So that's the most, if I were to name one thing, that would probably top everything, but it's so many. It's so many. When a young girl even sees herself and starts to value herself, that's fulfilling. When I see a parent has been touched by our work, that's fulfilling. The partnerships that we've had, so it's so much.
Well, I hate to bring us down from that. What has been the most challenging thing that you've experienced thus far?
Well, it won't bring us down too much because I always look at everything as an opportunity. The most challenging, I would say, is that adults model the behavior that we are trying to redirect our girls. So we have parents who are doing the Real House of Atlanta, hip-hop, love and hip-hop, they're mirroring that same behavior, or they're doing the scandal when they're drinking wine because you got a problem. All the different things that we're trying to redirect girls away from. They go home to mothers and aunties and godmothers and adults, period, who are doing the very same thing. So that is the most challenging, to be that voice, but then if your mother is doing it, who am I to tell you? You know what I mean? You can undo all that. So that's the most challenging. However, the promise in that is that we did a Raising Black Girl Magic, with the understanding that you can't raise black girl magic if you yourself are not healed, if you yourself have not moved beyond your own personal blocks. And so your daughter can have all the gifts and all the talent in the world. You can send her to the best schools ever. You can put her in Girls Like Me project. You can put her everywhere. But if you are not dealing with who you are, and the little girl inside of you has never gotten, let's say, the Brown House experience or the Girls Like Me project experience, then you're gonna have to do some work. And so the promise in that, the opportunity is that we build more programming. That's the work I do with my coaching and that sort of thing, and my radio show and stuff like that. That's the work I do for parents, and then we have the girls in our program.
So what advice would you give someone that's looking to go into the nonprofit sector? Because it is very difficult.
It is very difficult.
What advice would you give them?
So I started mine before I knew this, and Sharita Morrison with Demoiselle to Film, after I'd already started, would say, you should have just started yours as a program and ran it under our organization. So that's what I would tell people. I would say, have your own, absolutely, make that the goal, but start off with a program and have that program underneath another organization that's already established, so that you don't have to, the learning curve, it's not at the expense of your organization.
Yes.
And you can build yourself up. The capacity that you'll have will be stronger. However, if you don't do that, just have people on your board, not your friends, not your relatives.
Someone's just gonna
have people that know what they're doing, and not just know what they're doing because, I love girls. Because my mistake was I had friends and sisters and people who love girls, and they were social workers. So I'm like, yeah, we on the board. We gonna get the board. No, you need people who have expertise in finances, keeping your books, reporting. You need somebody who knows how to go after funding. You need somebody who knows legal terms and contracts. You need somebody that's good at getting the word out, people that can attract people that want to sponsor or do business or fund you. So you need a real rounded board, first and foremost.
So put the right people in the right places to start off with.
Yes.
So that you have a good foundation.
Yes.
And that's what we were trying to do here too. I totally agree with that.
It's a process. It's a learning process, but I look at it as everything that's successful. I know that if we look at our history and we look at the organizations that were started, you can name anybody. You can name Dr. King. You can name Reverend Jesse Jackson, Operation Push. Nobody came out the gate like, we got this. Everybody has had. It may not be in the paperwork issue. It may not be your leadership. It may be that you don't have enough girls, or you can't attract enough people to you, right? So everybody is going to have some stumbling blocks. Yes. And those stumbling blocks are what positions you and gets you to stand up higher. So you can't avoid it.
Yes, and I totally agree with that. Yeah. What do you all have coming up? Do you have anything coming up?
Yes, we have something coming up. So right now we have our feminine toiletry drive, and that is we're collecting feminine toiletry products for homeless women and girls and incarcerated girls. And so we're collecting tampons, maxi pads, trial size deodorant, trial size soaps, that sort of thing. We're going to put them in bags and disseminate them. And then also in March, we are hosting our, what is this going to be, the 7th annual Pamper Power Talk. That is where we bring women who are STEM professionals, so they can be technologists, they can be doctors, estheticians, that sort of thing. And it's because a lot of the hygiene and the grooming that we do as girls, it's a lot of consuming.
Yes.
So we buying and making folks rich.
Yes.
And it goes even not just the lip gloss, but the perfume and the selfies, right? You got to take a picture with this app. So what if you, instead of you taking selfies all the time, what if you knew that you could be a photographer, a digital photographer? Yes. What if you knew you could code the app that edited the, what if you knew the technology that was a career? What if when you make this lipstick that you wear, what if you knew you could make your own lipstick and sell it as an entrepreneur? What if you knew that perfume has to have a chemist, and a chemist is a scientist? So we bring those women in, we pamper the girls, do facials, nails, and all that, but then we have a power talk afterwards with the sisters.
I love that.
Yeah, so that is one of the most popular programs that we do. And it's free. It's always free for girls.
I love it. So check her out. How can they reach you if they want more information?
They can reach us at girlslikmeproject.org. Girlslikmeproject.org. We're also on Facebook at Girls Like Me Project. We're on Twitter, Girls Like Me PROJ. We're on Instagram, Girls Like Me Project. We're on the internet. Find us.
Yes.
We love your support as a volunteer. We love to visit your school, have your girls in our free summer programming. We love volunteers.
Well, thank you so much. I could talk to you forever.
I know, Tia. I love this show. I've been watching it.
Thank you.
And I'm really proud of what you and Dee are doing, and I can't wait to see the rest of the guests for today.
Thank you. Thank you.
you.
And I appreciate you coming on. And we will be working together
Yes, we will.
soon.
Yes.
So again, I want to thank our guests. Girls Like Me Project. Check them out on all social media platforms, the website also. LaKeisha Sewell is our guest for today, and we thank you.
Thank you.
So now we are moving on to our AK Corner.
All right, you guys, so we're going to actually skip the AK Corner today to keep up with our time. It's 7:52 right now. We have a couple more minutes. We do have a lot of more stuff lined up for you guys, so we're going to go ahead and get into that. Maybe at the end of the show, once we close out, we can just show a couple of the clips that we had for our AK Corner. It was just showing you guys some of our training sessions that we have throughout the week. So now is our Kid Bits with Zoe Brown, one of my favorite parts of the show. She's going to show you guys and kids how to make airplanes out of popsicle sticks, something that she does very well at home with us.
Keep in mind, she's 7 years old.
Yeah, 7 years old. So this girl is pretty busy. She's my little engineer. So
Check her out.
Check it out.
Hi everybody, welcome to Kid Bits on Pack TV. I will be your host, Zoe Brown. Today, we will be learning how to make popsicle stick airplanes. The first thing you need are popsicle sticks, push pins, clothespins, clamps, and glue. I'm going to use this glue gun with the help of my mom. First, you need to take out 4 popsicle sticks and 1 clothespin. First, you have to put a popsicle stick on the paper. Then, find where the middle is. And then, within the doors, put glue on the popsicle stick. And then, push it down and hold it. And then we're done with step 1. This is where I use my clamp. So I clamp it onto both popsicle sticks. Then it will hold it in place. Next, you need 2 popsicle sticks for the back of your airplane. So ask your parent to glue the popsicle stick on and push it. Then turn it around carefully and put some more glue on it. And then push it down. Last, you take your clamp off carefully, and this is you gotta be careful with your push. So then you slide it in, then let it close, and voila! Your popsicle stick airplane. Enjoy! I hope you enjoyed this video. Learning how to make popsicle stick airplanes. I'll see you next week. Bye!
Yeah, can't get enough of that right there. But what were those popsicle airplanes when we were kids, man? It was something, you know, we played video games and all that stuff. I would love to do things like that, that's hands-on or whatever.
Yes.
So.
Well, Zoe loves that type of stuff. She is doing that type of stuff all day, every day.
Yes.
Going through all of our brown house materials, scavenging through everything, trying to see what she can use
Trying
and
to
put
build
together.
something. Yeah, yeah.
We were putting together rockets the other day, so look out for that one. And she's going to show you how to create a rocket also. So we also have our neighbor to know. We have a couple of minutes before the end of our show, so we wanted to highlight Natasha Scott, who is a wonderful young lady who I have had the pleasure of knowing for a long time, since freshman year in high school. We actually went to Lane Tech together. We went to SIU together. We have been friends forever. So she is our neighbor to know because she is a pretty cool individual.
She's pretty cool.
Yes,
She's a
she
cool
is.
person right there.
So I want you all to check out our neighbor to know.
Natasha Scott Esquire is the Senior Advisor to Chicago City Clerk Anna M. Valencia. In this role, she is responsible for monitoring and advising the Office of the City Clerk. Prior to becoming Senior Advisor, Scott served as the office's Chief Legal Counsel. Before that, she also served as the counsel for the Chicago Park District and in the private sector for over 15 years. Scott is the president and CEO of the Westside Cultural Foundation, WCF. WCF was established in 2012 in an effort to create cultural and educational outlets for the youth, adults, and seniors in the Lawndale, Austin, and Garfield communities on the west side of Chicago, and to support the Chicago Westside Music Festival, WSMF. WSMF is an annual concert produced by WCF on the west side of Chicago with intense community involvement and participation. Under Scott's leadership, WCF expanded its programming blueprint by hosting several community programs, including a free 6-week Alvin Ailey dance camp for 100 students, literacy events and book donations, art programs for seniors, and an annual holiday coat and toy drive. Westside Cultural Foundation has positively impacted the lives of over 50,000 people. Scott serves as a member of the Board of Directors for the Chicago Autism Network, an Illinois not-for-profit organization dedicated to strengthening the local autism community by helping those in need find affordable, effective autism therapies and support. Scott is also a member of the Board of Directors for Free Spirit Media, an Illinois not-for-profit organization whose mission is to provide teens and young adults in communities of color on Chicago's west and south sides with a comprehensive foundation in media literacy and hands-on media production experience. This is Natasha Scott Esquire, Pat TV's Neighbor to Know.
I hope you all enjoyed learning a little bit about Natasha Scott. And also, we want to thank our guest again, LaKeisha Sewell, who is the founder of Girls Like Me Project, nonprofit organization. We want to thank Zoe Brown for giving us our kid bits for the day. You have anything for next week, Mr. Brown?
Well, first and foremost, that list for Mrs. Scott is actually longer than what what we read. And shout out to my man Michael Scott too, Alderman Michael Scott, her husband. That's my running partner too as well. So for next week, we have some more Athletic Connection stuff that we didn't get to this week, and check Auntie Diop next week as well. So be on the lookout for that.
Peace.